Hi, today we're going to be working with the wonderful onion. Onions are part of the allium family, which includes garlic, leeks, shallots. They are super high in antioxidants, and the one that's been most notably out in the press these days with COVID-19 is quercetin. It has antiviral and antimicrobial properties. So onions are just fantastic for heart health. They have cancer-fighting compounds. They're also a great source of prebiotics, which are what feeds the good bacteria in our gut. So I'm going to show you a bunch of different cuts today, and we're going to start with, this is the stem and this is the root, kind of thinking of it as north and south, because depending on if you cut it north to south or top to bottom or east to west or from side to side, depends on what kind of cut you're going to be getting. So in order to start, we want to, when you're always holding, when you're working with knives, you always want to hold whatever it is you're cutting in a claw shape. This way, this protects your fingers from getting cut off, because that's probably not really a good thing. If you kind of are holding something like this and you're coming at it with a knife, you're kind of at risk for chopping them off. So you want to keep your fingers in more of a claw shape. This way, the knife kind of butts up against your knuckles and you're not in any danger of cutting off your fingers. So you want to kind of have a good grip on the onion, and just take off straight down and taking off this stem side. Now you have a nice flat stable thing to work with here. You want to go straight down through the root. We leave the root intact. We're first going to be doing chopping and dicing, and we want to leave the root intact because that gives us stability. So after you've cut it like this, you want to peel off the skin, first couple layers. Sometimes this is like, to me, the hardest part, just kind of getting a good grip in there and getting that skin off. So once we peel that off, we end up with this. And so for chopping, because we have the root here that's still intact, this isn't going to fall apart on us. So first you want to take the flat of your hand, kind of have the stability here, and take a couple horizontal cuts into this way. 1 or 2 is good. And then turn it around, and then we want to do some vertical cuts. As close to the root as you can without going all the way through. So just make some vertical cuts right here. Again, depending on how wide you want the chop, depends on how many cuts through here you're going to want to do. So already we're kind of making chops right here. And then just straight down for a nice chop. And a dice is really just a small chop. So this is just a basic chop. So let's say, you know, the recipe calls to saute some chopped onions for a sauce or something. This is a really good, just basic shape. To make a dice, you just want to bring it a little bit closer. Make a shorter, a more narrow cut down. And see the difference of this, it's more of a dice. Maybe you want to use this in a salsa. You want a nice fine dice. Salsas are nice to use. The red onions are so pretty in them. So that's the finer dice, and then a regular chop. And then if we're going to be slicing, you want to go top to bottom. And for the slice, you want to take the root off. So we'll cut the root off. Just it over here. And so there's striations, natural striations in the onion anyway. So that kind of gives us a good, there's some lines right here we can follow. And you just kind of want to go from top to bottom, like a slice here, a couple slices. And now we end up with some nice slices. Saute these up for fajitas. And there's your slices. Alrighty. Then there's another cut we can do, a bunch of different cuts we can do. Again, when we have the root and the stem off of an onion, we can make some half moon shapes or some quarter moon shapes. These are really nice. I like to do this shape for salads. Cut them very narrow and thin as you possibly can. Make a really nice, oops, it didn't go all the way through. See, you kind of go like that. And it's nice, pretty half moon shapes. Makes it real super pretty, nice and narrow. These look really nice on a salad. This is kind of what I garnish salads with. My half moons. And another nice slice if you wanted to do rings. I have some example of some beautiful rings here. To make a ring, if you had a full onion, a whole onion, because we have 2 halves, imagine this onion is like this, we would simply cut east to west straight through here, and you end up with these beautiful rings. So look at all those different cuts we can do with just one wonderful onion. So there you go.